So today is a review of the Nike Pegasus 40. Kind of entry-level premium daily trainer. Entry-level in terms of actually good running shoes, but it's still not quite entry-level if you combine all running shoes on the market. So this is kind of an entry-level when you're talking about shoes over £100, which is generally the cutoff now where shoes actually start to be better. Even though this isn't quite as premium as some other daily trainers that we'll also discuss in this video. I think the Pegasus, it's quite a substantial model in the Nike series and in the running world as a whole, so it's always good to see any updates and how the shoe is. For those who don't know, the Pegasus series is kind of a daily trainer, which is a shoe that you want to be able to do quite a lot in. Maybe that's some speed work, some tempo sessions, or just some easy runs. And yes, with a daily trainer, traditionally, it kind of means that it's not great at anything, it's kind of just good at everything. And that still kind of falls true with the Pegasus 40. I would say it does feel really nice to do sprints at where you're not really bothered about how much you're going to fatigue, where it's just a mechanical sprint, maybe like 100s, 60s, whatever. It does just feel great to take out and kind of, play around with different paces and different terrain. I wouldn't say it's a very specialised shoe in any degree in terms of tempo, threshold, easy recovery mileage or sprint speed. Again, it's just an all-encompassing shoe. Straight into it, the upper is the best Pegasus upper I've tried. It's very comfortable and it's also just very cushioned and nice. Not really much to say, really. The laces are nice and long, so you can do some runner's knots if you want some extra ankle lockdown. Feels really comfortable at all paces, actually. Sometimes you get some rubbing when you tie it differently for different paces. I've had no issues whatsoever with the upper. It's not some groundbreaking technology, but it is very comfortable. Onto the midsole, and this is kind of where the Pegasus falls into their own category, because for the full price, and I'm not talking about sales of other daily trainers, I would say it's got the best midsole of that kind of price range, again, which we're going to get into, but I wouldn't say it's anything to write home about compared to the new kind of super daily trainers, so to speak. So it is a Zoom and React midsole with an air pocket in the front, traditional Pegasus. I would say there's something feels a bit more structured compared to the previous versions, because as I said, I really struggled to run in like the Pegasus 36, 37. I almost found it unbearable. I don't have any issues running in this shoe. It was essentially my arch would start to hurt very quickly into the run. That's been eliminated. It also seems like there's a bit more stability in there. So the midsole still isn't really energetic, but it's definitely a lot better. It feels really good kind of when you sprint in. I've done quite a few hill reps in this shoe, and it works well for that. But you're not going to get the energy return that you can expect in some other models. Onto the outsole, it's just a solid grip. I don't really have any issues. Grips are kind of boring. They either do the job or they don't. This does the job. It's quite thick, so you don't really have to worry about durability. There's some extra millimeters of rubber on the outsole. So durability-wise and grip-wise, it's going to do the job. Even in wet or gravelly conditions, I've kind of ran in everything, so does the job. This model, if you are wanting to invest a bit more of a higher priced shoe, but you don't really want to break the bank, this is a good option. And also if you want like a versatile trainer, maybe you're getting into running for the first time and you just want something more solid, then this is a very good option. And like I said, this is the most enjoyable Pegasus I've ran in. It's not quite the high end of daily trainers, but at that price point, you can't really beat it. I've been mainly wearing this for some warm-ups and cool-downs, some easier runs, like shorter, easier runs, and some strides, and also some steadier runs and some hill sprints. Also doing some plyometrics in it, it feels nice. On to how it compares to different daily trainers. I've kind of categorized them based on quality as well as price. In this first category, it's similar price or similar quality, and that is the Adidas SL, the Saucony Ride 15, and the Brooks Ghost 14. The prices are all on screen for each of those shoes, and for me, the Pegasus 40 does come out on top. The SL is a pretty firm shoe, and it is very similar priced, and it's still an okay shoe, and it's probably the best Adidas mileage shoe, but it's just a little bit firmer than the Pegasus 40. The Saucony Ride 15 is a much higher price point, and I think it's a worse shoe overall. Feels very similar, it kind of shares a similar DNA of the shoe, but again, it's just a bit firmer. Just doesn't feel as nice. And the Brooks Ghost 15, similar to the Saucony Ride 15 in terms of the price. Brooks kind of price their shoes high, and traditionally Ghost has been a really good shoe. Just doesn't do enough for me, and I would actually choose the Pegasus 40 over the newest rendition of the Brooks Ghost. Now a level above the Pegasus, and this is kind of daily trainers what are a bit more advanced, but also they're kind of not at the top of the bracket. All of these are more expensive as well. That is the Hoka Clifton 9, it's just a bit more plush and a bit more cushioned, a bit more high stack. Can't go as fast, but it's a nice daily trainer for everything else. The On Cloud Monster, kind of similar in terms of what paces it can handle, but it just feels a little bit better because it's probably a little bit more high stacked and can also flow a bit faster, in my opinion. And the New Balance Freshfoam 1080 V13. This is a much more expensive shoe, but it is better. It's got some kind of super foam, or at least a compound of a super foam. Now onto the supreme kind of premium daily trainers. It isn't kind of a different ball game. This just has a standard foam. It's quite a lot cheaper than something like the Novablast 3 or the Puma Deviate Nitro. I mean, if you just hold the shoes next to each other, you can kind of tell this is a lot more of a shoe. The foam is FF Blast Plus, so it's kind of like a semi-super compound, because the plus kind of stands for some improved foam now in most shoes. Better foam, higher price point, bit more of a scientifically designed upper as well as some laces, and it just flows better. You've got a bit more energy return, a lot more cushion, and it's just faster. Can kind of handle everything better other than sprint speed. Again, actually coming out on top, I would say Pegasus is probably close with the Unclad Monster in terms of if I had to sprint in a shoe or if I had to sprint in a daily trainer, I'd choose the Pegasus or the Unclad Monster. So it's really good for that. But anything slower than the Novablast 3 is one of the options, and also the Puma Deviate Nitro 2 is a pretty similar option to the Asics Novablast 3. The key difference being the grip of the Puma kind of edges it for those kind of wetter conditions. So overall, this is my favourite Pegasus to date, and I do have it in my rotation, kind of some steady runs, some sprints, some strides. Feels great for that. I'm not going to take it out for some super long, easy recovery runs, and I'm also not going to wear it for sessions. But it is a very solid shoe. If you do like the Pegasus previously, this really won't disappoint you. And if you are new to kind of running shoes and want something what's a solid price range, but also a solid shoe, it's not breaking the bank, and it's not super crazy, then this is a pretty consistent shoe to have. Thank you. Please like, subscribe, and also comment if you've tried the Pegasus 40 and what you think of it, as well as kind of what you think the best daily trainer is on the market at the minute.